This video is all about Hoya. Hello everyone, it's Nicole here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm so excited because I'm going to do something different but very special. I'm going to start a new plant series of episodes, and in each episode I'm going to feature one plant category. For example, philodendron, peperomia, syngonium, alocasia, you name it. And in this episode number 1, we're going to talk about everything Hoya. So I'm going to get ready and go to my friend's house. Leah has a lot of Hoya, so we're going to visit her today, and she's going to share some story with us and share some care tips. So are you excited? Well, I am. Well, let's go. So this is my friend Leah. She has a lot of Hoya in her house. Leah, can you tell us about yourself and your Hoya collection?
So my Hoya collection just started recently, within probably about a year ago, but I've been into plants for a lot longer than that. I grew up with my grandma always digging in the dirt. My mom always had a garden. So I started gardening and doing more outdoor stuff probably about 10 years ago. And then you just get to that point where you want to start bringing stuff inside. So I probably started doing houseplants seriously within the last like 3 or 4 years. But recently I moved to Kansas City 2 years ago, so I had to kind of start over. So my 400 plants have been accumulated within 2 years actually. So
you're saying you have 400 plants?
Total, probably.
And how many Hoya plants do you have?
I want to say, because I have a lot of duplicates, probably over 100 Hoyas. I have like 76, 80 varieties of Hoyas, but a lot of them are duplicates, and a lot of them, you know, my favorites I gotta have multiples of. So
right.
I haven't counted, but I would say ballpark of around 100.
Wow.
And growing rapidly.
So you're going to show us what you have today?
Yes, I would love to.
Okay, let's go.
All right. The majority of them are here, which is my south-facing window. I have Florida ceiling windows, so it makes it an ideal place for lots of plants. And then I also have a west-facing window, which is great for Hoyas, which is right over here. So I would say, I don't know, 80% of my Hoyas are in this general vicinity. But I do have my first Hoya actually in my skylight in my bathroom, and I'll show you that one. That was my first ever flowering Hoya.
Okay,
let's go
there.
So this hanging Crimson Princess was probably one of my first serious Hoya purchases. It is here in my skylight. I saw it at Ben's Landscape Garden Center in Kansas City, and it was blooming, so I had to have it. And I got that about a year ago, so that's kind of when I started paying attention more to Hoya. So that was probably my first big Hoya purchase, and the blooms are incredible. And this being a mature plant, it's just covered in peduncles. So I haven't counted, but last year I probably got like 6 or 7 flowers, and it's really happy here in my bathroom. And it gets indirect, almost direct sun with the skylight, so it's ideal situation. And it's been able to keep up its... So this is one of my first expensive Hoyas, I would say, I got without prior knowledge of what I was doing. This is an EPC 594, something like that. It's not a very fun name, but as you can see, it gets like the sun stressing, which I really enjoy. And then all this new growth. Originally when I got it about a year ago, I didn't quite know what to do with it. So that's why I like Hoyas, is they're really forgiving. I pretty much neglected it for quite a while, and now it's finally starting to be happy because I know what to give it. They do need bright and direct light, and they like to dry out, so that's that one. Here is a Bella that is about to bloom. I'll try to get it down here. So this is a smaller leaf variety, and there's its little peduncles. I have a few Hoyas in bloom right now, and that's really just an added bonus because I like them for their foliage.
And flowers too.
Yeah, the flowers are just bonus. But it is nice. So that's a Bella. I have an Opavata here with big old splashy leaves. This is also one of my first ones. I got this in Omaha.
This is huge.
Muhalls, yeah.
I went there for this plant, but all out.
All out. That seems to be the majority of Hoyas right now, is they're hard to find. They're becoming more popular, I think.
Yeah, it's so pretty.
What else do I got that's interesting? I have some unknown varieties which are kind of fun. This is one of them. So I don't know what it is, but I have about 6 or 7 of these, and so they're kind of a mystery. Once they bloom, I think I'll have a better idea. But I got a few of those. So here's my Australis Lisa. It's kind of a popular one right now. The new growth comes out that pinkish color. And its variegation just, yeah, it looks like watercolor.
So what are your top 3 Hoya plants that you would recommend to Hoya beginners?
Honestly, I think all of the care is really similar with the Hoyas. You need bright and direct light, and you need to let them dry out for sure. I mean, there's some more fussier, like thinner leafed ones, but as long as you have like the thick succulent leaf, like the Crimson Queen or the Crimson Princess, like you can't really kill them. I mean, you probably could, but it would be awfully hard to kill them. Let me take this one down so you can see this one. Oh boy.
This is a large one.
Yeah. So this one came from Virgil's Plant Shop, another local place here in Kansas City. Yeah, the new growth is pink, and then it has the white margin, so it's the Crimson Queen because it has the crown around the side. She's a big one. And I tried to get most of my Hoyas locally, but I've gotten to the point where, let's be honest, I have to get most of my stuff online and in more specialty type online stores and people that sell cuttings. She's pretty.
Yes.
I'll try to get her back up without hurting anybody. So here's my Hindu.
Did you also get it from the big box store?
No. I did get one of those, but it's in my greenhouse. So this one I've had a little bit longer, but it's just growing like crazy. And these are really easy. The thing with Hoyas is you can do the taco test to see if they're thirsty. Like you squeeze their leaf, and if you can make a taco, then they probably need water. But if they have some firmness to them, they're just fine. And I can go weeks without watering, even in the summer. It just kind of depends.
What are your top 5 most valuable Hoya?
Oh boy. Over here. We'll switch gears. This is gonna be funny because it's probably one of my smallest leafed ones. This little guy is pretty spendy. This is a Hoya serpens. And super tiny, and they're actually fuzzy leaves. I think one this size goes for like $80 right now.
Wow, that's cute.
And then this is a valuable one. I don't remember its name. But obviously anything variegated right now is kind of the in.
Oh yeah, this one is very pretty. I've seen the photos a lot on Instagram.
It's called a couple different names, so I don't really know which one's correct, so I just don't. It's just easier that way. And then I do have a few Callistophylas, which are really sought after because of the veinage. I'll show you one. And I think Hoyas don't photograph well or video well, but this one you can obviously see is quite different. I think that's one of the things about Hoyas is people are like, oh, they all look the same. Well, they kind of do, but in person they all have their unique traits. But, and these leaves are more like cardboard.
Oh, yes, it's completely different texture.
Wow. Super succulent. And then I do most of my Hoyas in Leca. So you'll see a lot of Leca, which is kind of a fairly new thing for me. This is a Finlaysonii. There's a lot of different varieties of these, but this one's really cool. This is the newest leaf.
Stunning. Oh,
So it's
so pretty, the speckles.
So it's lightly variegated and it has like that cardboardy feel again. I know, they're so cool. I think people just have to touch them and like interact with them to truly appreciate them. And then one of my pride and joy from Thailand is my Kadata. And he's finally putting out some new leaves for me. This one is just really bizarre.
Did you get it from Thailand?
I did. I imported it last year before COVID hit and they were importing.
It looks so fuzzy.
It's really stiff again. And then it's kind of ripply.
Yeah.
So here's the new leaves. They're not quite hardened off yet. But it's almost like a camouflage with like silver. So this is one that you can find locally at most of the nurseries. The new growth comes in this, it's called like Royal Hawaiian Purple, so it's like that dark color. Super easy grower. This would be another good one for a beginner. I still have this one in dirt.
When did you start collecting Hoya?
I would say like I bought a couple over a year ago, but seriously started collecting probably within the last 8 months, I would say. Something kind of funny happened is I went to Hawaii in January and I was so excited for all the plants and all the tropicals, and every place I went I looked for Hoya and they didn't have any Hoya. So even though I was seeing these beautiful tropicals, like incredible plants, I missed Hoya. And that's kind of like how it like sparked my brain. It's like, oh, you must really like Hoya because you're in Hawaii, like the mecca of tropical plants, and you're looking for these little thick leaved guys. So that's kind of like where it was like became more prominent that my direction was Hoya. And really with my window setup, it's ideal because I have huge south-facing windows, huge west-facing windows, and some philodendron and anthurium and those type of windows will burn.
Right.
Especially in summer.
Yes.
So, and we got a sunshade for our deck, which helps a little bit, but I keep mostly cacti, succulents, and Hoya here. This one is really pretty. This has fuzzy leaves, and they come in this really beautiful deep color.
Oh.
And the name is impossible. It starts with a W, but yeah, this is one that I got online.
If you guys have any idea, please put the name in the comment below. I think everyone will appreciate it.
Yes, I know it starts with a W and it's like W-A-Y and then it trails off from there, so good luck. And then this is a Super Eskimo. This is one that's been very popular.
So silvery.
Yeah, I actually got this locally from Casey's Tiny Greenhouse. Austin, my buddy, and I did a trade, and I got this. It was unrooted at the time, but the beautiful thing about leca is you can really watch root growth and monitor the healthiness of the roots, so it's obviously rooted now. And then I do have a Polynera, which everybody's kind of going gaga over these days. Here she is.
Oh, so pretty.
So it took a while to get established. She's in 100% coco coir and happy roots.
So you're just trying different method?
Yeah. I just like to kind of experiment, and I knew she wasn't doing good or wasn't growing fast before, and now she's put out, well, all of these are new leaves. She came as a 2-leaf cutting to me. So these are all new. Gray Dabble, I believe is what they said it was, and more glossy leaves, but still has that speckling. I have a Chelsea up here that I got as cutting locally. Not doing the best yet because she didn't come with good roots, but so this is a Carnosa Chelsea. So I think a lot of people focus on like the really rare and variegated ones where like sometimes simplicity is best, especially when they're easy.
Right.
I do have some blooming ones if you want to see my blooming multiflora.
Sure.
It's back over here. So it's like that thinner leaf variety, so it doesn't have the big succulent leaves, but they're just a little bit thinner. And then the flowers are like this.
Yeah, very interesting. It looks so different.
Yeah, and here's what they start at. So this one's about to bloom. They're like these little darts. And then they open up to the little dragon head thingies. And this one's also in soil. If they're ever flowering or putting out new growth, I kind of hesitate to change the environment too much. Right. The ones I start in leca are like water propagations. I'll always start those in leca because they're already used to the water. And then let's see what we got else over here. So here's another multiflora. Can't pick that one up because he's like stuck in there. But about to bloom. So they bloom a lot. But they don't really have any smell to them, so it's just kind of a funny looking bloom without any smell.
Do they bloom multiple times a year?
I think this is probably like the third or fourth time mine has bloomed, and I've only had it for maybe 3 months.
Wow.
And then I do have a Hoya linearis, which is kind of one that is expensive and sought after. It's a completely different look. I don't know if it's gonna work with the lighting. But it's fuzzy, again. You gotta love the fuzzy plants, but it's just totally different. And once you get these established, they're great, but I've started them as cuttings and they're not the easiest to start with.
Oh, so soft.
Yeah, they're fun. Let's see, what else? This is one of my first Hoyas. This is a Macrophylla Variegata. Got that locally at Family Tree, I believe. And then here's another Bella that's trying to bloom. And that one's in 100% leca.
Oh, 100%.
So like I just try different things and see if they prefer one over the other. But the Bella is, again, one that will bloom quite a bit. But they are definitely a tiny leaf variety. I do have a Carrii that is giving me a peduncle.
It's very, very long.
Yeah, he's kind of a big guy. I actually tried to train him to go like around this trellis, and then he gave me this. So yeah, he's just kind of doing his own thing. And he does have some splashy leaves, which are fun. But at the way top is well, there's new growth. But at the way top, he gave me a peduncle.
Oh.
So that'll eventually, I don't know when, but so that'll eventually flower. This is a good starter variety because you can literally just completely forget about these. The only time you're gonna kill a Hoya is if you overwater, like Sansevieria or succulent cacti. Like you can pretty much neglect them and they will do well.
So if people are new to Hoya, they definitely want Hoya to flower. How to know if the Hoya has the peduncle?
They usually kind of come in between the leaves. Like it's a different growth than the actual leaf, so it'll be a different type of growth. This one actually has another small peduncle on it I can show you. And they kind of come underneath the leaves. And I'll show you, I have a pubic calyx that just got done flowering, and I can show you that. So they look completely different than like the new leaf growth. And some plants will come with old peduncles and they'll always reflower on that same peduncle, so never trim those off.
Yes.
They might not be cute, but leave them.
No flowers.
Right. So this crazy guy in the corner here is very large. I got him locally from Suburban Lawn and Garden in the spring, I believe. And so he started sending out crazy tendrils, that's what I call them. And so just got done blooming, but I'll pull it out here. So he sent out this giant new growth, and then I actually got 3 flowers that just got done blooming. So that's the peduncles. They look kind of like little tiny microphones.
I love it. I've never heard people describe it like this,
yeah.
But exactly.
And the older the peduncle, the bigger the mic will be. Like these will get nice, big, and woody for flowering. And so this hasn't even given me new leaves yet. That'll be coming, but it gave me 3 flowers, which I highly enjoyed. And I kind of let them do their own thing. They kind of wrap around all my stuff. I just let them be. I do have a Hoya Sunrise, which is kind of a fun one because it gets sun stressed. This one isn't terribly sun stressed, but you can kind of see the red leaves. And it's not actually stressed, they're still happy. It's just like a defense mechanism, I think. So it should be like blushing and not sun stressed is what it should be called, but. All right, so this is another one of those sun stressed Hoyas. It's a Patsii red leaf. I got this from Unsolicited Plant Talks. They are these most gorgeous red and green veined leaves. This is my newest leaf. It almost has like that margin thing going on. And then it decided that it's gonna grow a whole new growth point. So it looks like I'll get 2 leaves there. But yeah, this one is really expensive right now and popular. Luckily, I kind of got on the Hoya kick before everybody, not before everybody because I've only been doing this for a year, but I got a lot of my Hoyas before they were expensive. So I maybe picked this up for like $35, $40, whereas now it's probably a $100 plant. So that's the thing. I mean, prices will fluctuate, but if you just wait and if you're patient, prices will eventually go down again. I guarantee it. I know like the Impercana, which I have one, but it's in my greenhouse, it's like a shingler, and it's just like this single little leaf that shingles up. And I saw one for $95. It's just crazy. Like a single leaf little shingler, and I have one. I didn't pay $95 for it, but yeah, don't buy things when they're at the peak season, because unless it's like you've never seen it for sale before and you have to have it, and it's like your #1 wish list plant, then I can see it. But when you're looking at collecting plants or, you know, having 100 Hoyas, you obviously can't spend $95 on each of them. But this one's special.
It's so pretty.
And wait for off seasons. Like if you buy Hoyas in the fall or winter, they're not going to be as expensive. And the beautiful thing about Hoyas is they ship amazing. Like I've never had any, knock on wood, problems with shipping Hoyas, because like with them being succulent and a little hardier than most like philodendrons or aroids, they ship really well. Even if they're in the mail for 2 weeks, you'll get something out of it. I have some big boys out in the greenhouse that are rooting. You want to see some big boys? So this year, this is kind of my new space. My husband built a greenhouse from a kit, and right now I have a lot of Hoyas in here just because it's really warm. Like for example, right now it's 99 degrees, even with a sunshade on it. but it makes it ideal for growing babies, like rooting. So these are some new plants that I just got this week. I have been here trying to produce some roots. With the heat, they'll get roots within a week. This is Ficus. Probably not saying it right, but it's fuzzy with these big beautiful leaves, and it has new growth. One of my big wish list plants are back here. He's giant, so I'll try not to tip him over.
Wow, it's a big one.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna take him out of his leca. This has some of the biggest leaves that I've seen. This is an Archiboliana, maybe? Has really big, beautiful flowers too, but just big, succulent, beautiful leaves. These obviously came from very mature Hoyas because they have the woody stems and not the flimsy stems, so these are coming from very mature mama plants, and they're very happy. This other one is really cool. It's a kind of like the Caudata, where it has like the modeling and the ripples. Yes. And there you go. Yeah.
You want to try?
That's what it is. Veteranoids, maybe. So this is where I have a lot of my ones that are starting to root. Well, look at that. Like, it's literally been in water for 3 days. And it's already rooting. So the heat really does. I mean, it's like putting on a heat mat out here, obviously, but it's extreme. I do have a few hanging Hoyas out here, another obovata. Out here I kind of experiment to see how they do outside versus inside. Here's another Crimson Princess.
So pretty.
With that pink new growth. And then I have a Retusa and a Carnosa. This is a corpse flower, and I'm gonna get a flower out of that one. Not a Hoya, but still super weird. Oh, I do have babies. I want to show you babies. I got seedlings from one of my Hoya friends. Which one is it in? And she got seeds from one of her Hoya orders, and she didn't really want to mess with it. So I decided, why not? And I have Hoya babies.
Oh.
So I don't know what to do with them at this point, but
so tiny.
Yeah, they're doing pretty well. I had them inside for a while, and now I just brought them outside, but
hopefully they grow faster.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with them at this point, so we'll see. They're work in progress. But yeah, so you can grow Hoyas from seeds. I've never done it, but apparently it's possible because I did it on the first try. So this is another pubicalix, however you say it, variety. But this is more of the splashy version. And this has that sun-stressing pink color because we're right by that west window again. And this one I got locally last year at Colonial Gardens. And it's sending off shoots like crazy. But
I like the splash, the pink.
Yeah, it's super pretty. And then 2 more macrophyllus with the margins that are at the elbow. And then this is kind of my baby station right now, baby propagating station. It was herbs until about 2 weeks ago, and then this is what it is now for the time being is a propagation station. But Hoyas root super fast, so they're really good for beginners to gain confidence in rooting. This cutting I picked up literally a week and a half ago locally, and like tons of
wow,
roots.
that roots.
Yeah, so a week and a half and it's ready to be planted. So don't be scared of Hoya cuttings because it doesn't get much easier. This pubicalix I cut maybe a week ago, and that's already starting.
Do you put any solution in the water? I
don't. With my leca, I give them nutrients, but when I start plants, I just do straight up tap water. That's another thing, is I don't do any fancy water. I don't have time for that.
Right.
I've also killed 3 humidifiers within 2 years, so that's probably why. It's part of the game. These are cute. This is another type of a Finlaysonii. So that really cool veining again and splashiness. And these again started out as cuttings and they're super happy. And these are pulled back a little bit from the south-facing window and they do pretty well. I believe this is another Carnosa variety. So yeah, they're kind of like Pokemon. Like there's a million and you kind of want to get them all, which is not the best philosophy with plant collecting, but they're so small you can kind of fit them in little nooks and crannies. I obviously can't get huge philodendrons, you know, a dozen at a time, but I can easily find spot for 12 Hoya cuttings. And that's probably why my collection has grown to over 100, just because I don't have a ton of space, as you can see. There's not a lot of real estate left in my plant windows, so, but I can fit Hoya. Mm-hmm. This is another really pretty one. This is the Kentiana Variegata. So all the new growth comes in that pink red color, and I love the Hoyas that are marginated. I think that's what you call them, where they have the dark margins. I just think it's really different to have it like outlined. Mm-hmm. I do have the green variety too, and you can see the margins a little bit better on that one. See?
That deep purple color.
Yeah. So I like that almost better than Variegation, almost. Here's another Calistophylla with new growth. Here's another small leaf variety that's really popular. This is a, I think it's called Mathilde. I've heard it called all kinds of different names. But that's a small leaf one that's popular. And see, this is a peduncle. So that's an old peduncle. I obviously haven't seen this flower yet.
Soon, hopefully.
Hopefully. This is variegated carrii with the white around the edge. This is actually these two are new leaves. So they come in very different.
Oh my gosh, that splash.
Yeah, it's super weird. And then this eventually lightens to the white, but completely different. Like this one's a little bit older and it's starting to lighten up, but they're just so different when they come in. Variegation on the center, and this one is a fairly new cutting, so it looks a little stressed out. But that has a variegation in the center, and it's just not as striking as this one, I don't think. But you know, you gotta get all the varieties. So here's another Polynera. I've treated it exactly the same. Haven't gotten new growth yet, but it's super rooted.
Oh, nice.
So I don't know when it's gonna give me more leaves, but I'll be patient.
Yep.
And this is soon. This is another carrii version. It's supposed to be furry leaves, but I can't tell that they're furry. So I don't know. Maybe the new guys coming in will be furry. We'll see.
Thank you so much, Leah, for having me here. You have such a beautiful Hoya collection.
Thank you.
So which Hoya did you just put into your wish list? Let us know in the comment below. If you like this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification button so that you will not miss out any of my future videos, because next week we might talk about philodendron collection or syngonium collection, pepperworm collection. Who knows? So if there's something specific that you guys want to watch, please leave a comment down below. That's it for today. I will see you in my next one. Bye bye.